Hi everyone, welcome to Belinda's Book Nook. It's been a very long time since I've done a video. It's also been a long time since I've actually been on to check out all the subscriptions that I have, so I do miss everybody. It's funny to try to explain that to people outside of BookTube, that you miss people that you've never actually met, but the connection between books kind of make you feel like you know people a little bit better. So I have been just busy with life, and in a little reading slump where I couldn't really quite finish books, started books and put them down and try to figure out, what I want to read while trying to, look at my TBR and see if there's something there that I would want to read. So that's kind of my excuse. And the weather's getting warmer, so I tend to be outside more than the inside. I started working on my garden, and that is going to probably, moving forward, be a little bit more challenging for me to make the videos as well, because I love to be out there doing things in the garden or sitting out on my deck. So I will figure out something. Like, my goal was to do at least 2 videos a month. I haven't exactly honored that all the time, but I will do the best I can moving forward. Having said that, these are the books that I read recently, and I can't even say, I like how people can make it nice and neat. This is what I read for April, and this is what I read for May, and I kind of blur the lines because I crossed the dates. So this is what I have been reading recently and completed, because I have a lot of, DNFs. So anyhow, the first one is called Waking Gods. It's Sylvan Nouvelle, I believe that's how you pronounce the name. And this is the second book in a trilogy, I believe. It's a science fiction. I can't remember, I think it was Book Riot that I heard about the first book, which was called Sleeping Giants. And I started reading it, and I just really liked it. I like science fiction. Particularly, I love science fiction movies, and I do like science fiction books, but I am learning that there are certain types of science fiction that I might not have an easy time with. It gets really too complicated for me. This was not that, but it was really fun. I can't tell you about it because it would give away from the first book, but it picks up right where the other one left off with the characters. The first book, I'll give you a little briefing, I guess. I'm not good at this, so I will try. It's this girl, one day, I think she was young, and she stumbled across in the woods, I believe, this big, I think it was a hand. It's like a big, it looked like a hand, but it's a mechanical type hand. And it turns out that they believe that that hand was part of a bigger kind of a robot or a type of craft that is shaped like a person, and that they're scattered all across the world. And they start to go and find these pieces and work on figuring out what to do to where it came from, what it is, and what it's supposed to be for. So I can't say anymore because I don't want to spoil anything about the book. I really liked it. Even for people that don't really get into science fiction, try Sleeping Giants if you like it. Then this one you will definitely like as well. It's written in a style that it's log, so it would be like, for example, file number 1416, interview with Captain Kara Resnick, Earth Defense Corps. And then it will go through the people talking. And I really enjoyed that format. I didn't know if I would, but at first I was like, what is this? And then after a while, I really liked it because it dipped you in and out of the timeline of the story, so that you can kind of put the pieces together. And they did the same thing in this one. The only thing I could say about this one versus the first one, which it's always difficult if the first book is really great, I feel like this one was slower at the start, but because I liked the first one, I stuck with it, and it got really good middle and to the end. So I will definitely read the third one to see what's happening, because it definitely leaves you thinking there's something more to come. So that's called Waking Gods, and that's by Sylvan Nouvelle. I should go look up how to pronounce people's names, because it's not nice. I don't like when people pronounce my name wrong, so yeah. Anyhow, the next one I saw, where did I see this one? I think somewhere on BookTube as well. And I wrote it down. It was one of those ones I wrote down. And then I went on thriftbooks.com and got it, you know, 'cause it's a lot. I got it for like $2 or $3. And this one is called Mr. Oitas' Guide to Gardening. I think this was Book Riot. I think they had like written about it. And it's called Mr. Oitas' Guide to Gardening, How I Learned the Unexpected Joy of a Green Thumb and an Open Heart by Carol Wall. And I wanted to read this one, because it's about gardening a little bit. And I thought that if spring was coming, that this would be a perfect time for me to read it, because it'll be talking about being in the garden. And I always get anxious around March, like just hurry up, so I can get out there. I have a vegetable garden and I have a flower garden, and I love being out there. So the book itself is a true story about Carol Wall, and she becomes friends with her neighbor's gardener, Mr. Oita, and he is from Kenya. And they build like an unusual friendship that really, I liked it. You know, I thought that it was genuine, what she wrote in here. Carol developed cancer, and she knew she had cancer prior to meeting Mr. Oita. And then he becomes her gardener and helping her with her garden and more, because you know that there's all these other symbols within the story. I thought it was a beautiful story. There's a little bit of immigration information in here in terms of Mr. Oita's family coming from Kenya and some of the troubles they had trying to come to the country. It talks about some, you know, problems that he faced in terms of discrimination. I remember reading right after I read the book, because I was like, you know, I kept commenting to things to my husband about it, and then I read a review after it. I usually like to get my thoughts together even before I read a review after reading a book to see how I stack up. And there's somebody that, you know, called this woman whiny, and I don't think that I could ever be able to say somebody's whiny that has a terminal illness. I just think that that's unfair and inaccurate. And I didn't find that to be the case in here. I think that she was true to her feelings, true to her experience, and it's a lovely story. I think it's a good one to read. I would definitely recommend it. I won't say any more. Definitely a little bit of a tearjerker at times, but just a really good story. So I like this, and I highly recommend it. Again, it's Mr. Oita's Guide to Gardening, How I Learned the Unexpected Joy of a Green Thumb and an Open Heart by Carol Wall. And it's got a really pretty cover. I took a picture of it with some of my flowers the other day. It's so nice. Okay, the next book, this particular person is actually just came, and I missed her talk, and I really wanted to see her. But I remember hearing everything about this all over. It wasn't on BookTube. I believe it was on a podcast. And it's by Jasmine Stanley, and it's Everybody Yoga. And I've done yoga for, it's after revealing my age, for a long time, on and off. And I did different types of yoga, and you know, this is probably the longest time that I haven't done any yoga. And I wanted to read this because I thought it was really interesting. You know, she talks about her experience growing up, being a big girl, big boned girl, and her journey to become confident in herself, and her journey with yoga, and the exposure that, or the lack of people that might look like her, that might be brown, in the yoga world. You know, whenever you see anything with regards to yoga, it's usually a skinny white woman, and it's setting in your mind that this is what you aspire to. And this is also, like she in the book, she talks about how kind of like it's almost like a club, like, you know, you shouldn't be here if you don't look like this, and you could feel it, she said, you know, when she would go to yoga classes in the beginning. But she now goes all over the world and teaches yoga. And so the story talks about, it's good for beginners and anybody really. It talks about her experience in life, but then she ties in yoga, and then she also tells you, like, she shows you actual poses. And, you know, and she also dispels the myth that, you know, somebody that's big can't be flexible, can't do yoga, because there's poses that she does that I cannot do either. So I'm pretty impressed with it. So I thought it was really good. I did borrow it from the library, and it has been held hostage because I wanted to have it to show it to you so you could see the cover, because you'll know as soon as you see it in the bookstore or the library. But definitely a good read. I get what she was saying with regards to a lot of things in terms of feeling kind of like you don't belong necessarily in there. So, you know, and I think you learn as you do yoga for a while that it's not about you replicating exactly what the instructor's doing. It's moving through the journey of the experience with your body and your breath in the moment. She also talks about how, you know, yoga is just associated with this physical asanas as opposed to all of the philosophy and the beliefs that go behind yoga. And that I found intriguing, and definitely want to pursue a little bit more reading about that as well. So a really good book. Check it out at the library. Go to the bookstore. It's really nice. She has like ones that you can do here and gives you suggestions on what things to buy and everything. Good book. The final book that I read, my son reads comics, and I really try to find ways to connect with him. We go to Comic Book Day. We go to the Comic-Con that comes here in the summer. And so I buy comics with him, and I try to do that. And I don't know if I have mentioned this in a prior video. So I decided that I was going to get in the game, and I took out of the library Black Panther, Volume 1. And this is Black Panther by Ta-Nehisi Coates, who you all may know by now. Okay, and yeah, and this is, I'm sorry, this is books 1 through 4 it covers in this. I like getting the bind-ups. I realize now, like, I do get some comics that it's kind of nice to just keep going. Like, I like books that keep going. So it's nice. I can get to the next one and everything. But I understand because everybody is really loving the cover art. So if you get the single issues, you get the cover art. I enjoyed this, but I am going to fess up, and I know this is, you know, T for teen, and I am way beyond teen. I was confused. I had to stop at the beginning and go online and get more of an understanding, which they do tell you right in the beginning a bit about it, because I kept losing track of who was who, and because of that, when they would be making this big, you know, proclamation, I'm like, well, who's that? So I would go back again. And so I was very confused for a good portion of it, stuck with it. I enjoyed it. The graphics are phenomenal in this. I don't know if you've even looked at it, but it's really, 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 really good looking. And it's just exciting to see brown people in comics, intelligent, and heroes. Here's some other picture. So I will be reading the next volume and hoping that that will bring more clarity to me, so I can be in the cool club with my son. Yeah, like that's neat. These are some covers. So that is what I read. I am currently reading some things. I'm not going to say, you know why? Because I have a tendency these last few months to start and stop things. And like, it's not like I started it and then I stopped it a few pages in. I've gotten in a good far way and go, not happening. So I'm not going to tell you because I don't like to tell those things because it puts more pressure and it makes it more likely that I probably won't read it. So with that, I'm going to leave because I know I'm babbling and I'm talking too long. I haven't done this in a while, so I have to get the time going. Anyway, I miss you guys, and I'm going to start circulating around to catch up on everybody's videos, and I will be back again soon with some more because I am reading some stuff and I will finish them. But I hope that you guys are having a lovely spring. We're having really fun over here, and maybe I can figure out how to bring you into my garden and show you some of my garden this summer. That will be really fun. So anyway, I hope you're having a blessed day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.